how to draw a fashion model, step-by-step instructions. To begin with, we draw auxiliary lines. To do this, draw a straight line from top to bottom and divide it into 3 equal parts. Now, each of the parts will also be divided into 3 parts. The first thing to do is to mark the place for the head. The head will be at the place of the first segment. Through the middle of the second segment, we will draw a diagonal line. At the end of the third segment, draw a diagonal line in the opposite direction. We draw the same diagonal line at the end of the fourth segment and at the end of the sixth segment. At the point of intersection of the last drawn line, draw a small circle. This will be the knee of one of the legs. Next to it, in the direction of the line growth, draw a second circle. Another circle is drawn at the end of the 8th segment. From the point of intersection of the first diagonal line with the vertical line, draw a perpendicular, which will bend and end at the point of intersection with the third diagonal line. From the same point, draw 2 lines at a slight angle. These lines will serve as the base for the legs and the base for the pelvis. Next, we form the width of the pelvis, and then form the width of the shoulders. Use 2 curves that will curve in the same direction as the center curve. From the higher part of the thigh, draw the base of the future leg extending to the nearest circle. From this point, draw a straight line leading to the lower circle, and then draw the contour of the foot. Now, let's begin by drawing an outer outline of the leg, keeping in mind that the top part of the leg is broader, while the bottom part is narrower. Next, we will proceed to draw the second leg. This one will start from the opposite side of the pelvis. It will then extend into the second circle. This second circle represents the knee of the second leg. The lower section of the second leg will move backward and become concealed behind the first leg. Due to perspective, it will appear much shorter and will conclude at the midpoint of the 8th leg. The foot of the second leg will also be almost invisible. Now let's get to the shoulders. Draw 2 circles. And also we will deduce a contour of a neck from a head down to a diagonal line and necessarily round off in the direction of shoulders. Now let's proceed to the arms. Since the hands will be in pockets, draw on the thighs a place to place the pockets. Now draw the contour of the arms from the shoulders to the elbow down at a slight angle, and from the elbow to the pocket. The thumbs will be sticking out of the pockets, so let's go ahead and draw them right away. Next, we'll draw the outer contour of the hands, making sure to follow the anatomy closely. Starting from the shoulder, the arms gradually become narrower as they approach the elbow. From the elbow to the wrist, the arm widens and then narrows again towards the wrist itself. On the second arm, the perspective changes, but the underlying principle remains the same. Now, let's use an eraser to remove all the auxiliary lines, including vertical, horizontal, and diagonal ones. The contour of the figure will also partially erase, but this is not a problem. It is very easy and quick to correct. Approximately in the middle of the upper part of the torso, mark the line of the chest, and on the left and right, draw the contour of the chest. The next step is to draw the clothes. Whatever design you have not thought of, start with the collar, and gradually from the top go down to the belt. Any belt has a clasp in this case. It will be in my square shape. And from the clasp already draw on the left and right side of the shape of the belt itself also. Do not forget that there are usually loops through which the belt is threaded. When drawing pants, first mark the height of the landing, which will be much lower than the contour of the beginning of the legs. Starting from this point, in various directions, draw folds using ordinary lines. Next, draw the outer contour of the pants. Make sure to draw big, large, broken lines to represent the folds. The length of the pants will be short, ending just below the knee. At the bottom of each pant, or a small, broken rectangle slightly wider than the pant itself. Erase all the lines of the torso contour, which are no longer relevant. In the ankle area, draw a few zigzag lines. Repeat the same operation, crossing the previous lines. On the left and right, draw 2 loops each, imitating both. The heels will have a high sole, so in the toe area, draw a big hoof like this. Now let's finish drawing the sweater, namely the sleeves. Sleeves draw raised to the elbow. So let's start drawing from the folds that are formed in the elbow area. To do this around the arm, draw 3 curved circles, small, a little more, and even more. From the edges of the large circle, draw straight lines in the direction of the shoulder. Similarly, draw the outer contour of the sleeve for the second arm. To make the garment not look flat, add more folds to it. We achieve this effect using quick, vertical strokes applied at small angles and in various directions. For the pants, apply the same technique to impart volume, texture and realism. Once the main elements of the clothing are sketched, it's time to add shadows. This is done with firm strokes at an angle. The closer the strokes are drawn to each other, the darker that area will appear. Align the direction of the lines with the curves. If the area isn't dark enough with strokes in just one direction, try using cross strokes in that area to enhance the shading by adjusting the angle just a bit more. A truly beautiful model should indeed have a beautiful face. You should divide the head in half both vertically and horizontally. On the horizontal line, you should mark the eye area with strokes. To ensure the face appears beautiful and symmetrical, it is essential that the distance between the eyes is approximately equal to the width of one eye. When you are drawing the eye, avoid drawing any small or complex details. Instead, boldly outline the upper eyelid, slightly indicate the corner of the lower eyelid, and then draw the pupils. That's it. Eyes will look unnatural if we do not draw eyebrows. The shape of the eyebrows is arbitrary, but the corners of the eyebrows, it is desirable that they were raised. Find the center between the eyes and the chin, and in this place, draw the nose. 2 points close to each other. Now find the center between the nose and the chin and draw a short horizontal line here. This will be the lower part of the upper lip. From the edges of this line upwards, draw the volume of the upper lip. To illustrate the volume of the lower lip, we just draw its lower contour, avoiding connecting the left and right edges with the upper lip. Next, we shape the head correctly. Typically, a female head features a narrow chin and distinct cheekbones. Measure the same distance from the eyeline upwards as from the eyeline to the mouth. This marks where the hairline starts. Begin with smooth wavy lines to establish the overall shape of the hairstyle. And then proceed to add strokes to provide texture and lighting to the hair. Make sure that the direction of these strokes aligns with the natural flow and direction of the hair. Finally, at the very end, use a cotton bud to gently add soft shadows, enhancing the overall effect. That's all there is to it. If you enjoyed this lesson, please remember to share your thoughts in the comment section, give a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. My name is Jupiter and I look forward to seeing you in the next video.